Hey, you're listening to Local Frequencies, your connection to the local music scene. I'm Bree.
And I'm Kyle.
And we have Scott Wilcox back on the show
we
with
do.
us. Hi, Scott.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. And we decided to get Scott back on the show because, Kyle, why don't you tell him why?
He's famous.
He's famous now. He was in a Super Bowl commercial.
Oh yeah, that's
which is
like
pretty
top
cool.
of the line famous.
Yeah, it's hard to
pretty
say
cool.
you're locally famous, widely unknown when you've been on a Super Bowl commercial.
It is.
So.
Isn't that like your
Yeah, it's
logo?
like one of my big songs, yeah.
So, let's just, I guess, jump right into it. How did you come across this great opportunity?
Well, I mean, it was kind of a complete fluke. You know, a lot like when I got on Oprah. It was one of those things where I was goofing around in the studio at 11 o'clock at night, and I decided to, send something into Oprah thinking nobody'd seen it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same thing here. I read an article in Google News, one of the newspapers, and it said they were looking for people born in 1967. Of course, that shows my age, but born in 1967 in the months of October, November, or December, and they were looking for Packer fans. And so in order to apply for it, you had to send in your contact information, your date, your birth date, and all that. And then you also had to send in why your parents were big Packer fans.
Okay.
So I did that. I sent in my stuff, and I heard right away the next morning from them. They sent me an email saying they'd closed submissions and that I was one they were considering.
That's
really
awesome.
cool. That's really
How excited were you to get that email?
Well, since they said I was one they were considering, it didn't say I was chosen.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I was
still
like,
exciting, though.
Could be
yeah,
anything, yeah.
it's possible, and I've learned in the past that, you don't get excited too early,
Yeah.
So-
I get a little excited sometimes
Yeah.
over stuff prematurely,
You're
but
blonde.
Yeah.
So then they asked me in the email, they said to send in some further contact information and also send in a video which explained why my parents were a big Packer fan. So I told the story about how my mom lost my sister and I at a Packer game when we were little kids. And my sister wandered off to the cheerleaders and she found her there pretty quick. And then I had wandered over by the coaching staff because we were right down near the field.
oh, okay.
So I had kind of wandered over that way, and I was leaning on the railing, and one of the coaches came over, saw me, and just about the same time my mom found me, and he picks me up and he says, "Hey, this boy's a big guy. He's going to be a Packer someday." That became the biggest, story in our family for quite some time. So I told that story, and then on a fluke, I just sent in my Brett Favre song that I wrote,
Yeah.
just because I thought, well,
Yeah.
at least they can, hear what I've done, and this proves I'm a
A little
Packer
more
fan.
icing on the cake.
Yeah, so
exactly.
because until this point they said nothing about it being a musical ad. So then I waited, and I waited about a week and a half, and eventually I was getting bummed. I was like, I am not going to be in the Super Bowl commercial. I don't think that I got chosen, and whatever. And I was just complaining and whining. My wife had just had enough of it. And so about 10 minutes after that, I checked my phone, and sure enough, I get an email saying, I've been chosen, and they need me to be in Manhattan in 2 days.
Oh,
Really? Thank
2
you.
days.
Thank you for the notice.
Nothing like a little notice. So I quick found a good friend of mine who had all the Packer stuff I could ever muster, and I borrowed all his Packer stuff because all my shirts had holes in them, and I went to New York. It truly was amazing. I probably went from whining to jumping around the house within about 5 seconds.
Oh, I
So,
can only imagine. Your wife wanted to kick you in the butt for a different reason.
Yeah, exactly.
how was New York?
It was fantastic. First day we got there. We flew to New York. It was so cool flying into New York because you get to fly right over the Statue of Liberty,
Oh yeah.
which I thought was just amazing to see it from 10,000 feet was really
Yeah.
pretty cool. And then getting into LaGuardia, there was a guy standing there with my name on a sign. I've seen that in movies,
Yeah.
but I've never actually experienced it before. So it was actually really cool to be able to have a guy standing there with your name on a sign, And so I got in the car, and he drove me to the hotel where we stayed. It was in Ludlow, and it was a beautiful hotel, just fantastic.
Height of luxury.
They paid for everything. They paid for our travel. They paid for our hotel. They paid for, they fed us while they were there. So we didn't really have much to pay. We didn't pay for anything.
That's
really.
awesome.
That's really
Except
cool.
for a cab every now and again. And so it was really amazing. They really took care of us well. So we got to the hotel, and I spent the night there, and then the next morning I get an email saying, because we knew we had to be up at 6 o'clock the next day, And so it said, meet us at such and such address for the rehearsal. And so I was like, how do I get there? Because I've never taken a cab before, you know. So I had to go down to the hotel desk to ask them how to hail a cab. And I'd never seen anybody laugh so hard in my life.
Some hotels will do it for you. Like when I went down to Chicago, when we checked into our hotel, they were like, if you ever need a cab, just let us know when you come down and we'll get one for you. And I'm like, well, that's good because you jump out in front of it. Like I don't.
Well, the
Hey,
guy
stop.
the guy at the desk says to me, he says, just walk out to the street, corner of the street out there with all the cars and hold your hand up and they'll be right there. So I go out there and I hold my hand up and nobody stopped. Not one cab stopped. So I finally come back and I'm like, all right, nobody stopped. And he says, well, did you hold your hand up to the ones with the lights on? I'm like, you didn't tell me that, you know? So then I went back out, sure enough, I got a cab and went. And I ended up being the first one there to rehearsal out of all the people because I was so worried that I'd be late. I wanted to be extra early, you know? So I got there early and I was the first one there. And they were all setting up tables and stuff like that and ready for it. So I decided to help them. And then the coordinator said, Scott, don't worry about that. You're the talent. You don't have to help. And I'm like, well, I don't sit down easily. So, it's just better that I do. And so, so I sat down, eventually, but I put up tables until next thing you know, 5 of these Packer fans walk in. So I was like, well, I thought maybe, it was just us Packer fans or something. But no, it was supposed to be a rehearsal for everybody. But oddly enough, us 6 Packer fans were the first 6 people to show up.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, it was really kind of neat. So, so then when everybody else showed up, then we started practicing the song, and we had rehearsal that whole day. And they had a few soloists, and I asked them if I could, have a shot at doing one of the solos. And they said, well, we don't have time today, but we'll have you give it a try tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, so I did that. And then the next day we had production in front of the cameras and just hundreds of production staff, and it was just the biggest production I'd ever seen in my life, But at noon, they were true to their word. They gave me a shot at singing the solo, and I did a fantastic job. I actually went, they said, okay, sing this solo. So I did, and they just looked, and they like, do that again. So I sang it again, and they're like, try it a different way, So I tried it a different way, and after about 6 or 7 versions, they're like, hey, I think we got something here, And so they really did, after that, they spent a lot of time having me. I sang that solo 60 times in production the next day. I was really surprised when in the end they had cut it out,
I know I had seen something about that. Jason, I was scrolling through Facebook and I had seen Jason is they say Gursky?
Gurky.
Is he's done he did our logo for us for local frequencies, and he's done some caricatures and stuff. He's a really cool local artist, and I had seen that he had been like, hey man, that stinks that that your big part got cut.
Well,
and I was
but
like,
in a way, the person they replaced me with was Seal. So you can't be.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't be too hard on the guy. He did write the song.
Yeah.
He did.
You want to sing
perform
the solo?
song,
I think you can have the solo.
So yeah, I don't mind getting beat out by the guy who wrote the song.
Seal's the only person that beats you out.
Yeah. I think we're all right. So yeah, I mean, even though I was a little disappointed, I didn't diminish the experience at all. It was just fantastic.
So did the whole song come together well the first time around?
Well, hold that thought, because we have to take a break.
Oh yeah.
But
we have to take a break.
when we come back, what was the question? Did the song come together well?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking? Yeah. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to get to know a little bit more about putting the song together, production-wise, musical-wise.
We're going to take a break.
But now we're going to take a break. What are we listening to?
We're listening to,
Actually, what are you listening to?
What are you? No, they're listening to local frequencies. I'm listening to all of you guys in the headphones.
Alright, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to get to know a little bit more about the musical part, putting the music together for the awesome Super Bowl commercial that Scott Wilcox is in. You're listening to Local Frequencies, your connection to the local music scene.
Hey, you're back. We're listening to Local Frequencies. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Bree. And we have Scott Wilcox here with us, who is telling us all about his super awesome, fantastic, wonderful, supercalifragilistic, expialidocious experience.
Is that copyrighted?
I didn't sing it.
Oh, boy.
I didn't sing it. It's not copyrighted.
Once again, we also forgot to
I
mention
think it's in the dictionary.
that Gabe is here with us again.
Oh yeah, our roadie's here with us. Hi, Gabe.
Hi, Gabe.
How you doing, Gabe?
Say hi to the lovely people, Gabe.
Hi.
But anyways, back to Scott. Kyle, what did you...
Oh, I was wondering if, like, during the first, few times going over the song, how did it come together?
Well, I mean, it was different for each, different people. We had different people from each team that had been to the Super Bowl there. I think everybody kind of learned slowly at first and then picked up steam as we went. The words to the commercial, they're a mouthful. There are a lot of words. So trying to fit everything in was difficult. One thing that did happen, which I was pretty proud of, was the guy who wrote this particular musical piece, or the lyrics to it. He was an ad copywriter, but not a songwriter. So he was really good at saying, okay, I'm going to fit the right number of words with the right number of syllables in the line where it had to be. But since he wasn't a songwriter, he didn't really have the musicality to say, what actually flows well and what's easy to sing. So I made actually 3 suggestions on the ad, and they took 2 of them. So the actual finished product of the ad actually is 2 of my corrections.
That's cool.
So that's
cool.
kind of neat.
Yeah, they do look like a mouthful.
Yeah, there's a lot of words on that piece of paper. Oh man, what is I've never done a commercial or anything, so I'm trying to figure out what to ask you about.
Well, I was in marketing and advertising for 17 years, so I did a lot of commercials, but I've never done anything in this size before. The scale of the commercial was so much bigger than I'd ever been involved with. For the initial rehearsal date, we spent from 6 o'clock until about 8 o'clock that first day just rehearsing the song over and over and over and over and over again, and it really got to be pretty grueling, when you think about how that wear and tear on the voice and all the things that go with that. It really was amazing. But thank goodness the music directors were just fabulous. They were so easy to work with. They really found a great way to help you learn the song and found easy ways to do it so that we weren't stressing ourselves out in the process. And so it was fantastic. And then when the production the next day, I had never seen such a huge production in my life. We walked into this place. It looked like a church cathedral because it had these 2 huge domes that had ornate ceilings and the whole bit. And I thought it was a church, and then we realized, no, it was a bank. There was a vault, and there was all sorts of other things. But it was
that sounds like a nice bank.
An old bank. They really had just put a lot of money and time into it. So it was really cool. But when we walked in, there was this bright light shining through the window, and we were like, oh, that's cool. Look, the sun came out, and we're like, because before it was cloudy, when we got in earlier. And then we took a closer look, and we realized it wasn't the sun at all. It was this 6-story crane outside that had an enormous light hanging from the end of the crane
to make it look like
the sun was shining through the window.
Ah, deception.
Yeah.
Magic of
So when you see the ad and you see that huge light streaming through the window, it wasn't sunlight. It was an actual light. I mean, it's amazing.
The gloomy doesn't sell though.
No,
Yeah.
No,
That's
Sunny
funny.
does.
I thought it was a church too when I watched the advertisement.
I thought it was a church.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah. Oh,
That's cool
it
as a
was
bank.
beautiful. It was just beautiful. They also, they had to put shades on some of the windows so the light didn't come up too much, and then other windows they had to add more light to it. So the amount of lighting that it took to do that. They also had, they had people to do our apparel. They had
Did you have a makeup artist?
I did.
My dream right there. I need a makeup artist and a hair artist.
She was so wonderful. She would come in, oh, honey, you look great. You just look great, but you got a little bit of shine right there on your nose. So here, let me just take care of that for you.
Man.
You are doing so great. Don't worry about it. You're going to be wonderful.
It's like a personal coach, too.
I got to the point where I'm like, I want you to come home with me. I said, if I had someone like you to tell me I'm great all the time,
and do my
amazing.
makeup.
It'd be amazing what I could do,
Oh,
and then they had a sound guy named Igor, and he had a big Russian accent like this.
I was going to say, how do you get the name Igor?
And the only thing that I saw Igor was in charge of was your personal monitoring system. So they had this thing called an earwig, which is a tiny little thing that sticks in your ear.
NCIS.
It's wireless, and so that we can hear the music while we sing.
Yeah.
All right. But each earwig is worth $2,000. So if you drop it or break it, you're in trouble.
You know what's terrible is I have really, like, do you see my ears?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're really little. Like, nothing fits in them. I can't really wear earbuds, anything like that. So I'd be like, can I just have a real mic?
So anyway,
Something
Igor
I can
says, this earwig here, it costs $2,000. If you drop and break this earwig, I will call the Russian mafia and I will kill you. And
so awesome.
So I put, he puts it back in, puts double-sided tape on it so it doesn't fall out again, And sure enough, 10 minutes later, it's falling out again.
Did you believe him?
I freaked out. I stuffed it back in there. I go, Igor, don't kill me. I said, I don't call the Russian mafia. Oh my gosh. And everybody was just fantastic to work with. The wardrobe people. The wardrobe lady was wonderful, but also very Nazi-ish. You get anything out of place and she was right there on you, I had a Packers necklace that kept flipping around. She put double-sided tape on it and would stay there, and she goes, now don't move it. So, it was really, really a cool experience.
So we have the Russian Mafia Association of Nazis.
Yeah.
This is real.
But I was actually more scared of the wardrobe lady than I was the Russian Mafia sound guy. So, yeah.
I can only imagine.
And she was a redhead too, and so was my wife, so I kept telling her, I said, I got one of you at home. I said, I can get treated like this at home. I said, you can treat me a little nicer.
This is like my vacation.
Yeah.
Don't tell my wife, but
yeah.
I was going to ask you, you got to meet a bunch of people from all over the place too then.
Yeah.
Because it was like you said, it's all the Super Bowl babies. Mm-hmm. That's what the whole thing is about.
Yeah, so it was so unique. You'll see in the ad there's one lady from Pittsburgh that does the solo, and there's just a short little solo that she doesn't. I had an opportunity to hear her sing so much more, So to hear her voice was just outstanding, and her and I got along so well, I'm sure we'll probably be talking more in the future. She's just fantastic.
That's good, yeah.
And there are a lot of people from the shoot that I still keep in touch with now, thank goodness to Facebook. You can keep track of everybody.
That's nice.
So, yeah, it's been a great experience.
All right, well, Scott's interview always goes by
they're
so fast. But we have to take another short break. But when we come back, Scott is going to play his Brett Favre song that he sent in to help him get the part in the Super Bowl commercial.
So stay tuned.
Is it called Brett Favre?
It's called Throw That Ball, Y'all.
Okay, Throw That Ball, Y'all from Scott Wilcox when we come back. You're listening to Local Frequencies, your connection
Don't you dare touch those dials.
to the local music scene.
Hi, I'm Kyle Roberts, and you're listening to The Kyle Roberts Show.
You're listening to Local Frequencies, and that's the last time Kyle gets to introduce us from a break. We have Scott Wilcox here with us. He's been talking all about his experience with getting to be in a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a Super Bowl commercial.
Super Bowl
everybody watches the Super Bowl.
Everybody.
Even if your team's not playing, people watch for the commercials. Like they do.
Yeah,
what is it? How much was like a 30-second slot? I mean, it's like in the millions of dollars.
$4.8 million.
$4.8 million for a 30-second slot in the Super Bowl. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the guy who
money makes the world go round.
The guy who directed this Super Bowl Babies ad was the same guy who directed the kid doing Darth Vader ad, which actually got number 2 in the all-time Super Bowl, ads ever. So it really was kind of a treat to work for him. So.
Oh.
It was really good.
I have to admit, I didn't watch the Super Bowl.
I didn't either, but I did see your ad.
Yeah, I
looked
did
it up.
Ad.
Looked it up. You can find Scott's ad that he was in. It's on
YouTube.
It's on YouTube, Facebook,
everywhere.
If you just look up Scott Wilcox,
I'm sure you'll find it.
You'll find it.
Best place is to really just go to my website. Go to scottwilcox.net. You go to videos, and you'll be able to see it.
Right there.
Websites
there you go.
Great
Super
people.
easy. Websites, YouTube, Facebook.
This new thing, internet, it's great.
Oh my gosh, it's
It'll
such a
never
phrase.
work. It's just a fad, they say.
Alright, but so Scott is going to play his Throw the Ball, Y'all, which is a song that he wrote, and this is a song that he put in with his submission to be in this awesome commercial. So, whenever you're ready, Scott.
Alright, thank you. stopping on when he threw the ball. Dad gave him football and coached him through school. Dad gave him a playbook and broke all the rules. Southern Mississippi, playing football in the rain. Gave that ball a heave-ho and put those boys to shame. Yeah, they stopping on when he threw the ball. They hollered, Brett Favre, he's the leader of the pack. They hollered, Brett Favre, he's a real crackerjack. They hollered, Brett Favre, let's do it every fall. Come on, Brett, now throw that ball, y'all. Got drafted to Atlanta, but didn't do well. Got traded to the Packers, and he began to excel. He liked to throw the football like it was his backyard. Feels like raindrops saying, "Who's that Favre?" They stopping on when he threw the ball. Playing that football in the snow. Yeah, he's 2 trips to the Super Bowl. 50 years of football records falling to the ground. He's a legend in the making with every touchdown. They stopping on when he threw the ball. They hollered, Brett Favre, he's the leader of the pack. They hollered, Brett Favre, he's a real crackerjack. They hollered, Brett Favre, let's do it every fall. Come on, Brett, now throw that ball, y'all. Would have known that hero was a little boy named Brett. You're gonna be a legend that no one will forget. They ain't stopping on when he threw the ball. Boys gather in the backyard in Green Bay. Play that game of football in the wee hours of the day. See the most comes an old man and his beard is turning gray. In the boys' amazement, Brett says, "Come on, boys, let's play." Yeah, they stopping on when he threw the ball. They hollered, Brett Favre, he's the leader of the pack. They hollered, Brett Favre, he's a real crackerjack. They hollered, Brett Favre, let's do it every fall. Come on, Brett, now throw that ball. Come on, Brett, now throw that ball. Come on, Brett, now throw that ball, y'all.
Oh my gosh.
That was
How did
awesome.
the Packers not use that?
I have no idea.
They should have been playing that at his induction to the Hall of Fame
I know,
on
right?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
They should have been like,
exactly.
You should send
yeah.
that to him. I'm sure he
I know.
would greatly
you should just
appreciate
find
it.
his
Actually,
home
I would-
address and be like, Brett.
If anyone out there knows how to, contact Brett Favre, you just let me know.
it actually paints a really cool picture. Like,
It really
I
does.
know, right?
Yeah. No, it really does.
And now with him getting inducted into the, Pro Football Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
this would be a perfect time to play
Send it to
live.
him. Okay, if anybody
You
knows
do
how
that,
to get a hold of Brett Favre.
or
Scott
Brett
Wilcox.
Favre, if you're listening.
If you're listening, Scott
Yeah.
Wilcox needs your address.
Come on, buddy. This guy's awesome.
And I mean, that was live. Could you imagine, like, fully recorded? Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Let's be real. We only have a couple minutes left. Like, literally a minute and a half now.
So,
Is there...
you went to New York. It's the city that never sleeps. Things get crazy. Like, what's the craziest thing you saw in New York?
Gosh.
Oh, yes. That's a great question.
The craziest thing I saw in New York. Well, I think the craziest thing I saw in New York, we stopped to talk to 2 police officers, all right? And they said that nobody else can get a taxi right here, right? And because this is a no taxi drop-off or pickup zone. So me and my buddy Kevin, we ended up talking to him for an hour, and we had such a good time. They said, hey, why don't you just pick up a cab here? And like, oh, you can't. You know, I said, no, go ahead, it's fine, we're watching. So we go and try to pick up a cab, nobody stops. But then the cop goes out there, and he hails the cab for us. And we get out, and the taxi driver, he says, oh my gosh, how did you do that? I said, well, what you don't realize is that if you're a Packer fan, that you can pick people up that are Packer fans along here. But if you're not a Packer fan, you can't pick anyone up.
No.
And he says, really? I said, no.
Cabbies are ridiculous. When I was in Chicago, Quentin and I, as my boyfriend Quentin, we were down for voice auditions when I auditioned, not this last year, but the year before, or no, 2 years ago now. Wow, time flies. But anyways, we got a taxi. Cab driver had been driving for 2 weeks. We had to use our GPS because he didn't know where to go.
Wow.
And that was like the whole point of having a taxi is so we can get, because we don't know where to go. Like we're not, Chicago's huge. Like I'm from Mustin.
Yeah.
we have 3 stoplights, people. 3 stoplights. Like
of all the cabbies I had, they all had GPS except for one. And one was an old guy, and he gave me this whole big spiel about, I don't need GPS, I know exactly where I'm going, blah, 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 blah. And so we told him where our hotel was, and he's like, well, I don't know where that is.
Yeah, well, do you know where it is? No, that's why I took it. What do I look like?
So he's asking us to look it up on our phone. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's what we had to do. We had to look up our phone. I was like, oh man, this is not.
Awesome.
And I was like, do we get a discount?
Yeah, I know, right?
No, and then he went to the wrong hotel and he charged us for the full time, even though he went to the wrong hotel.
Welcome to New York, man.
Oh, man. Oh, it was ridiculous. But, well,
That's
we're at
about
the end of
it.
our time. That went
Thank
so
you so
super
much.
fast. Thank you so much for coming on and
Thank
sharing
you.
your
That was
experience
great.
with us.
See, it's usually Kyle asks me some weird, bizarre question at the end.
But there's nothing, we've already asked those.
That's true. You already know my favorite color.
Yeah.
So what's left?
I don't know. I got nothing right now.
Nothing.
All right.
Favorite smell?
Well,
Oh,
favorite smell?
Brody Gabe.
There you
Probably a cheeseburger.
Oh yeah, cheeseburger.
Yeah.
What?
That's a good smell.
That is a good smell.
Cheeseburger?
Cheeseburger.
How about
That's a
like,
very good bacon's good too. The bacon smell.
Bacon's real good too.
Okay, I'm
Like when you
hungry.
wake up to bacon,
Bacon
smell,
on a
that's,
cheeseburger.
there's nothing
That
better
is
than
the-
Well, I
waking
haven't
up.
actually
I'll
eaten
give you
yet,
that.
so that's probably
a
why I picked that.
cheeseburger.
We haven't eaten
I am
yet.
hungry too.
We should go get cheeseburgers after.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna get Chinese.
I thought we were eating
Oh.
Chinese food.
Oh, the same thing.
Guys, don't. Live on the radio.
What?
Live on the radio. All right, well, thank you so much,
What?
Thank you
Scott.
so much for having me.
I'm
guys.
sure we'll have to have you on
You're
again
so
because
Chinese
you are
food.
just, you're so driven and you're so focused.
The motivation
Well, thank
is
you.
there.
And motivation
Thank
is
you.
there. So I'm sure you will be hearing Scott on our radio show again for something else super great.
He's all
That
around.
happens to
He's doing stuff all the time, so I'm sure we'll
All the
be
time.
good.
I'm trying to become the busiest and the hardest working musician in Wisconsin. That's my goal. So.
Ugh, we got a lot of work, Kyle.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that's it.
That's about it.
So thanks for tuning in.
You're listening to Local Frequencies?
Your
I mean,
connection.
Kyle Roberts show?
You're listening to Local Frequencies, your connection to the local music scene.
Yep.